I look at Jermaine as a wonderful icing on the cake. The point is, we need to have a cake that will look just as appealing without the icing. And we should not be modeling ourselves purely on getting cakes with icing. If the icing comes along, great. But it must not be mandatory that every club latches on to a superstar to come and revive the league. You know, it is very fortuitous that this has happened this way. But actually, with respect to Pennant, even before he arrived, we had already assembled Sundaram and I had already assembled a top-notch team. I mean, he managed to attract all the top names in local national football. And that in itself was already attractive. It was already getting a lot of media attention as well. So I believe in a perverse way that the local football just needs to be reconfigured in terms of how the fans perceive us. And Jermaine joining us is that necessary catalyst, right, that has created that buzz, that has created it. I liken it to a can of Coke, right? When you pop that can of Coke, there's an initial buzz and the pop, right? It's not to say that you're still not going to drink that can of Coke over the next 20 minutes. You still would, right? So let's just not give too much emphasis on this initial buzz. You know, the product in itself has to sustain itself. And I feel that we actually have a good product, which is the Tampines Rovers football team, looking to play exciting football with top quality players. And the overseas superstars who come along will be a nice touch. It's a nice to have, but not a must have. That should be the philosophy of how we restructure Singapore local football. I think the cake would probably be a solid club in itself, meaning having access to enough funding such that they're not scraping on players' salaries, they're not scraping on youth development, they're not scraping on branding, they're not scraping on the things that matter, because football is a business as well, right? So if you are scraping on all of these things, and then you are complaining that, look, we don't have enough support, enough resources, then I think that's fundamentally wrong somewhere. Why not just do an audit, find out how much resources are coming through for each of these clubs, whether it's the jackpot, whether it's a sponsorship or whatever it is, and then find out how much short we are. Then get further funding and find out, okay, maybe you know what, all of these clubs have been kind of managing on 2 million or 2.5 million, but the reality is it's not going to cut it with the fans. The fans are savvy, right? So maybe we actually need 5 million. And if that is the case, fine. Let's just work out a model where each club is supported at least to that level. Then even the local players get paid a decent amount. And when the local players get paid a decent amount, guess what? This is a proper path, a proper career path. It is not just the NFA players or the national players who get extraordinary salaries, but actually even the layers below. So I think that is what the cake is, as I was referring to. He's certainly the icing, but the cake in itself has to be robust and manageable and something sustainable.